Hey, this is Life with Sean Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is part 1, scammed out of $600 by a supporter on TikTok. Let's watch the video.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the time I was scammed out of $600 by a girl that still follows me on TikTok. Hey girl. So it was before I became a flight attendant, and before I became a flight attendant, right before I moved back to New York, I used to live in Atlanta. And I was living in Atlanta for 6 months. And around this time, I was working at Benihana in Buckhead, and I was working at this chiropractic company as a receptionist, and I was also like just doing little things around the office. So I really don't remember how I got into contact with this girl, but she works with really big influencers, and at the time she was working with these really big influencers, and she had her own like production company, and she was looking for like an assistant at that time. She was about to do like a project for this really big influencer at the time. So I go to her interview at her place, and she's interviewing for like production assistant. She's interviewing for assistants. So production assistant, yeah. I tell her that I have 2 jobs, and she's telling me that she needs me to be available for certain days. And I told her if I'm gonna be available to her for those days, I'm gonna require, I can't work those days. I told her I can't work those days, and she said, I'll just pay you whatever that you're not gonna make those days, or I'm gonna be using you, so I'll just pay you whatever you're missing out on. So I was like, roughly for those 2 days, like I'm gonna need like, or was it 2 days or that week? I was like, I'm gonna need $700. It might have been that week, honestly. So we agreed on a price, and we just started working with each other. So mind you, I would go to this girl's house so often. I would be driving her car for her. Like, I was literally her assistant. Mind you, this is the day that I can tell you guys about the day that I met the big influencer, right? The big influencer that we're working on his project. He's really well known on this app and on Instagram. And when he met me, he was like, oh, like, you look familiar. But like, I feel like I get along with everybody. So I got along with him. I got along with his team. And I low-key felt like she didn't like that. She didn't like how, like, I kind of wasn't just quiet. Like, I was talking to everybody. Like, I was getting to know everybody. And also because this is something I like to do anyways. Create content. Like, just because you're a big influencer and you have more followers than me, I'm not going to be, like, thinking that, oh, I can't talk to them. Like, I'm going to talk to you. Especially if you seem approachable. Especially if you seem like you're inviting. I really feel like this girl would try to sun me, like, around people. And I feel like I've learned that if you are around, like, I've had girlfriends that try to do that when we're around people. They try to sun me. They try to little sis me, but, like, not in an endearing way. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And I guess she was doing that because I was her assistant. And she would be like, oh, you're like my assistant, like how Kim Kardashian was Paris Hilton's assistant, like, back in the day. And I'm like, okay, yeah, or, like, whatever. There was this one day that she was kind of odd. There was this one day I was like driving for her, and I was chewing because I was like eating something, and she was like, I hate when people chew. And she was like, I've kicked people out my car before for chewing. And I was just like, okay. And I was like still eating, and she was like, no, seriously, like, I have, like, I don't like it. Like, and I was just like, what the there was a time where I was like with her and her mom. Her mom was another oddball. Like, I'm in the car with her. Her mom was like, yeah, back in my day, I used to be a model. You're pretty, but, like, models can't have acne. And at the time, like, I had really bad acne. And you know how, like, if somebody's kind of rude to you, if, like, somebody's people's mean to you or rude to you in front of you, like, when you're around, that kind of means that they talk shit about you when you're not around. So it was giving those vibes. But back then, I really wasn't really picking up on that. And I was real timid back then. Like, not timid to the point where I won't talk to people, but timid where, like, I was very non-confrontational. And I'm still very non-confrontational. I've always been non-confrontational, but I just feel like I speak up for myself these days. Yeah, her mom said that. In my head, I'm like, you used to be a model. You really could have fooled me. But anyways, I'm not even going to go there. Come the day of the shoot, right? Come the day of the actual shoot for this big influencer. I'm working all day. I am literally in charge of, like, all the people that's working for her on set. Like, I'm literally doing what a production assistant should do. And this is my first time ever really being a production assistant. So, like, I'm helping out. I'm driving places when she needs me to drive places. Like, I'm literally helping out as best as I could. I worked for her the entire time that she needed me to work for her. And mind you, but there was a point where, like, me and this girl, we actually we were like getting along. Like there was a point where we were like getting along. I really did think that like she was my friend. And I was talking to this guy at the time, and he would tell me like, you got to be careful with people in Atlanta because they'll use you. Like they really will try to use you. So, you know, I'm waiting to get paid. I'm not getting paid yet. Mind you, this is my first time ever really working with somebody who's like connected to like a big influencer, you know? So she's like, yeah, you're gonna get paid. I haven't even got paid yet. It's not like I'm asking you to pay me like $3,000, $4,000. Like, you know, okay, that's gonna take like a month maybe. Okay, cool. Like those take a while to get here. I mean, I've had brands pay me within 2 weeks. She was telling me she was paying me. The brand that she was working with wasn't gonna pay me. She was paying me, right? Because I was working for her, not for the brand. She starts getting a little bit like distant. I'm asking her to pay me. I'm asking her to pay me. She's acting a little bit like weird now, right? So I do remember there was this one time I went with her. We were around that certain influencer and his people, like his friends. And I don't know if she felt away because I heard him say like, oh, your assistant, like, I need your assistant. Like, I heard him say some like slick shit like that. Obviously, I act like I didn't hear it. Like, I really paid that no mind, you know? But I had got close with one of the influencer's friends. Like, one of the people on his team, I got really close with him. Like, I was going through a lot at that time. I was living by myself for the first time, like, really, in another state that I'm not familiar with. And I got close with one of the guys on the team, but, like, not in a romantic way. Like, he was just a very kind person. Mind you, I feel like this was after the actual like thing I was hired for. You know, I still was in the circle kind of like all these people that I was introduced to. Do you know that this girl went and drafted up, like she went and typed up a contract that she presented me and expected me to sign, and this is what the contract said.
So this lady hires you to help her out, and she's jealous of you? That's what I'm getting. That's jealousy right there. And you can't trust nobody with the jealousy. Because she been talking to her mom about you and belittling you and everything like that. That's all that comes from. Guys just woke up, so you have to bear with me. So, at the end of the day, she's just trying to make a name for herself, but even though she's just taking it one day at a time, and, you know, I don't know. Let's watch part 2. This is Life with Shawn Renee. More videos are on the way. Bye!